Let's talk about tagging and tracking because it is so important. So you're probably asking, why do we have to talk about tagging and tracking? What are pixels? Why does it matter? All of those questions are going to get answered today. And I'll go ahead and tell you right now that you probably are launching ads because you want to grow your business. You want revenue. You want to get in front of the people who need you. Google and Meta, they want your money. They want ads to work for you because they know if they work, you'll spend more. So often, if someone comes to me as a small business owner and they say, ads don't work for me, it's the same reason that when my father-in-law hands me a mechanics tool and I try to use it, I say, hey, this doesn't work. It doesn't work because I don't know what I'm doing. When you know what you're doing, this can work for you. And Meta and Google, they want your money. And they know that if you can give them the right signals on who are the people and what actions do you want them to take, if you can tell the algorithm what those actions are, they will go at it to try to help you find more of those people because they know if they get you more of those people, you will spend more money, right? It makes sense. It's a great business model. Hey, you want results? We'll help you get them. And we know that when you do, you'll spend more money because you can't have a business if nobody knows about it. And Meta wants to help you find the people that need it, but they need to know what are those actions. So when ads don't work for you, it may be because you did not have conversion tracking set up properly from the beginning. Conversion tracking means tracking, being able to measure the actions that you want people to take on your website. So if you offer a local service, it might just be a phone call, it might be a lead form, or it might be a demo request. If you sell products online, it might just be a sale. Whatever it is, that is your conversion action. And you want the Metas, the Googles, the TikToks of the world to have that action passing back into their platform so that they can go at it to try to find people that will take that action. So that is why tagging and tracking is just so important. And most people who are great at what they do. Maybe you're the best real estate agent. Maybe you're the best at giving eyebrow waxes or putting on or like installing eyelashes on people. Maybe you sell beautiful products online, jewelry, clothes, whatever it is. In order for you to get sales, you have to be passing the signals into the platform so that they can find your people. Okay. So that is why it is critical. And let me tell you this. Do not run ads unless this is set up. Most people say, I'm so overwhelmed by this. I'm really good at what I do, but I'm not great at the tagging and tracking. That's for someone else. No, it is for you. If you are even considering learning how to run your own ads so that you don't have to outsource it and you can get some growth on your own, this is a critical step. And you must do this before you launch your ads. If your ads are running right now and you don't have conversion tracking set up, unless they're going gangbusters and you are making so much money it's out of control, I'm going to recommend that you pause, get this set up, and reactivate. So what is a pixel? A pixel is essentially a tag that allows you to track behavior. And that behavior typically passes back into a platform. So it's able to say, hey, user number 123 went to your website. They were there for about a minute and a half, and they navigated to these 3 pages. And user number 456 actually purchased. In fact, that user purchased something that was $79. And that $79 passes back into Google ads or Meta ads so that you can say, I had 20 clicks today, but one of those clicks turned into a purchase. That's fantastic for the algorithm because they get to learn who are the type of people that buy and who are the type of people that don't. The thing that an algorithm does is it learns from so much data. So the more data, the more money that you spend on ads, the more data that the algorithm gets to actually learn what works and what doesn't. So what is a pixel? It's just a tag. And typically what it truly is, it's a piece of code that you're going to install on your website. A lot of times the instructions are to put that code in your head file of your website. The head file is just a file that exists on every single website where you can put code and it automatically applies to all pages. That way, no matter what someone navigates to on your website, page, your about page, your contact page, your purchase page, your product page, they're getting measured so you can understand their behavior so you can optimize towards a specific behavior, which is typically your conversion. So in Meta, and Meta means Facebook and Instagram, in Meta, it's actually called a data set. Like I'm saying pixel, but like it's also known as a data set in Meta. So if you see data set and you're like, dang it, what's a data set? It's just a pixel. It's just the tracking code that you're going to install on your website so that you can learn about the behavior from the people that click on your ad and then go to your website. And then the next thing is the Google tag. So in Google, it's called a tag. It's called the G tag. And so again, it's just a tracking code. It's one little snippet of code that you put on the head file on your website, and it tracks the behavior. Everywhere you advertise, you're going to want to set up a pixel. So my website has a Meta pixel, a Google pixel, a TikTok pixel, a Google Tag Manager pixel. So a lot of the hard work when you're first getting started with setting up your campaigns and ads is just getting all of the pixels on the website. But it's critical to do that so that you can pass the right information back into the ad platform. There are two main types of tags. I'm trying to simplify this for those of you that are just getting started. There's a main tag, and then there's an event or conversion tag. The main tag means, hey, if you're going to do Google Ads, you have to have this one piece of tag on every single page. An event tag or a conversion tag is a little snippet of code that you create after you've already created your first pixel. You set it up to measure specific actions. So, for example, one of the business owners in the Marketing Matters program, Jason, he owns a therapy practice. And Jason, if you're listening, you did a great job on getting all of this set up. So Jason originally had his form for families to reach out to him, just say thank you at the end. It would say, thank you for submitting a request for an appointment. But I actually had him change his website to actually go to a separate page. So when someone submits the form, instead of that screen just saying, thank you, your form has been submitted, I had it actually go to a completely separate landing page and URL called a thank you page. And so Jason put his conversion tag on that page, just the thank you page. That way, anytime Google sees that someone landed on that page, they're like, oop, that's a conversion, because the only way they're able to access that page was if they submitted a lead, right? So the only way they can get to that page is if they submitted a lead. They put their name and their email and they said, yes, I want to request an appointment. So whatever your conversion is, whether it's a lead or a call or a sale, you're going to want to place a separate tag on your purchase confirmation page or your checkout page so that you can measure those individual actions. Now, Meta has this really cool thing called the event setup tool that we're going to talk about in a minute. And it allows you to actually, once you've got the tag on your site, to kind of plug in your website, and it follows you around the website and says, what do you want to track? And you can click on, oh, this button, I want to track this landing page. It's really, really cool. I'll do a separate training on that. But here are the main 3 ways that you can set up tracking. You can either use a thank you page, which is what I just shared with Jason, where if you have a form on your website that someone submits, do not have the form just say thank you when you're done and not change the actual landing page at the top. The landing page needs to change. So for example, if you have a contact page and the URL at the top is, ashleybrock.com/contact. After someone submits a form for a speaking engagement or for a question, whatever it may be, the landing page that they go to is something like ashleybrock.com/contact. Thank you. It's a different URL that they're going to, because that way Google understands the only way they got there was if they submitted the form. That action is what's counted as a conversion, so that Google can go to work to try to find more people who are likely to complete that action. The other option of ways that you can set up a conversion tracking or ways to set up your conversion tracking is through button clicks. This is not the recommended way. So in this instance with Jason, he could have just put a piece of code on the actual button that said submit for an appointment request. But then sometimes when someone clicks on a button, it's like, oops, error, you didn't type in your right email or you didn't fill out this field. So you might actually see button clicks that didn't actually lead to someone truly completing the form. So button clicks are really useful when you have to go to like a third party tool. So an example would be if you are a health practice and someone has to use like a third party scheduling tool to schedule an appointment. You can't as easily track from one website to another completely different website if it goes to a third party website. So instead, you could do tracking on that button to indicate the people that are leaving your website to go to that other website to book. So that's when button click tracking might be the best case scenario for you. The third way to set up tracking is if you sell products online where people can add to cart and purchase, you need dynamic value tracking, dynamic revenue value tracking. What that means is no matter what someone purchases, their total purchase value, you want that to be dynamic based on whatever for each person, you want the number that they actually had in total revenue to pass back into Google Ads or YouTube or Meta. So those are the three different ways that you can think about your tracking: a thank you page, or putting tracking on a button click, or having dynamic revenue tracking set up. These are things that I guide people through in the Marketing Matters program on how to discover and how to set up with different resources. And wherever you're listening to this, I will also link to some helpful resources for you too. So how do you set up the pixels and the tracking code? Well, first of all, you need to make sure you have access to your own website to edit it. And if someone else does it, you can reach out to them and ask for your own permissions and say, hey, I need a login. I need you to send me access so that I can do this. Or if someone else manages your website and you're okay with paying for that, then you can just send them the code and say, hey, install this on the head file of the website, and they'll know what to do. So there's 3 ways you can install. You can set this up manually through Google Ads or Meta Ads or TikTok Ads, where manually just means the system's going to give you some code to put on your website. And it's funny, most of the business owners in the Marketing Matters program, if you're listening to this now, you know how to do this on your own because it's not that difficult. It's not that hard when you know where to go and what to look for. So you can manually install it, or you can use an integration. So a lot of the top website platforms like Shopify or Wix or WordPress or Squarespace, the ad platforms have an integration where it says, hey, you're setting up this code. That's awesome. Do you use one of these website platforms? And you can say yes. And then it will kind of give you a modified, maybe streamlined, easier, quicker setup process through using an integration where basically the tools are talking to each other and their friends. So sometimes integrations can be a really easy way for you to set up your pixels. The third thing is through the event setup tool. So for Meta specifically, the event setup tool is really, really cool. Once you install the pixel on your website, you go to the event setup tool and you click to actually navigate through your website, and you click on different things that you want to measure. I'll have a separate training for that. So it's very, very cool. That I love the event setup tool. Another question that I get frequently when it's time to talk about tagging and tracking is, what is a UTM? What are UTMs? Someone said yesterday, she said, I see this build UTM parameter in my Meta ads. What is that? What do I do? The summary of it is it's really just a way for you to pass back information about the click into Google Ads, or sorry, GA4, Google Analytics. So it allows you to say, when you're sitting in front of your dashboard, your GA4 dashboard, your Google Analytics dashboard, and it's a free tool, by the way. If you do not have Google Analytics set up for your website, you need to do that. And if you're thinking, no, I already have Shopify Analytics or Analytics in Squarespace, no, you need to set up Google Analytics. There's more data that you're going to get there than what's going to come default in your website platform. There's benefits to both, but you need Google Analytics. And so in Google Analytics, when you're actually looking at where did everybody that landed on my website, where did all of them come from? Using UTMs allows you to understand what campaign was it, what audience was it, what ad was it, because you can specify different parameters through UTMs. So UTMs are just a way for you to understand where the people that are on your website, where they came from and what specific thing they looked at. Here are some resources and tools that I think could really help you. First is the Meta Pixel Helper. So it's a Chrome extension that you can add to your computer that can help just confirm when a tag is firing on your website. And firing meaning when someone hits your website, it's going off, like it's working, it's firing. So Meta Pixel Helper is one. The Google Tag Assistant is another Chrome extension you can use. And also, just here's a tip. You can go to Google and search, how do I set up my Meta Pixel with Squarespace? How do I set up dynamic revenue value tracking with Shopify in Google Ads? Search for those specific things. You now have the lingo to say it's a Meta Pixel or it's a Google tag or a G tag. And if you search for that, Squarespace, Shopify, Wix, all of them have really good tutorials and trainings to help guide you on how to set up your pixel properly. And then also in Google, like actually in the ad platform. So when you go to Facebook Ads Manager, when you go to Google Ads, when you go to the conversion tracking, the event tracking section, it will show if your tag is firing. It'll have a green little dot and it'll say, tag last received data 2 hours ago. So that's one other way that you can confirm if your tag is working. Two other last things is you can take these pixels and install pixels straight on your website, or you can use a tagging tool. I kind of do a mix of both. I honestly need to be more consistent in the way I do my own tracking and tagging. But with Google Tag Manager, it's free, but it's a way that you can set up tags from all of these different sources in almost the same exact manner. So I really like using Google Tag Manager. There's sometimes I like just putting the code directly on the website myself. With Google Tag Manager, you actually still have to put a piece of code on your website, but it's almost like a house. Like you put the Google Tag Manager pixel on your website, on the head file, on all pages, but then every other tag that you get, you can actually use Google Tag Manager to plug in those tags, if that makes sense. So there's a few different ways that you can go about it, but those are two tools that I really like. I hope that was helpful for you. I'm going to have some resources below the video wherever you are watching, and I'm so thankful for you. And if you have any questions, please reach out. And if this was helpful, please like or comment and subscribe, because here on the Marketing Matters podcast and on the Marketing Matters YouTube channel, you are going to get a ton of value consistently. So if you're a small business owner and you know that you want to learn how to do your own marketing to get your own traction and gain leads and sales on your own, you can do it. And I am honored to be able to show you how to do that. So I hope this was helpful. Subscribe, share this with someone who needs it, and we will talk soon.